Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullahi ve Berekatühü. Sevgili kardeşlerim, can dostlarım,
My dear brothers and sisters, friends of my life, friends of my heart,
sonsuz hamd ve şükrederiz.
I thank and praise Allah Ta'ala countless times.
Birlikteyiz.
We're all together with you one more time.
Bugün Osmanlı İmparatorluğu'nun bir kuruluş yıl dönümü.
Today is the anniversary of the establishment of Ottoman Empire.
1299 yılında
In 1299,
kuruldu.
Ottoman Empire was founded.
Allah Teala'nın dizaynı içerisinde bir uç beyliği, neticede bir imparatorluğa,
Within the design of Allah, a small tribe became an empire.
Cumhuriyet
The Republic of Turkey
döneminin
refers to a new establishment that started with the end of Ottoman Empire,
1920 yılı.
which is at 1920.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
ve aklımıza hep atalarımızın kahramanlıkları geliyor.
when we say Ottomans, we always remember their heroic
Kurumları
adventures
kurulmuş,
as they establish an empire for the world,
bir imparatorluk,
an empire that was known by everyone,
dünyadaki en geniş topraklara sahip
as they had the largest land in the world.
önemli bir imparatorluk.
Very important empire,
Türk'ün
a bright vision
bütün
of
dünyaya
Turks and Islam to the entire world.
sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
Osmanlı imparatorluk yaşadığı sürece bütün dünyaya
throughout the Ottoman Empire,
Allah'ın emirlerine itaatiyle
they were known in the world with their honesty and their obedience to the commands of Allah.
Osmanlı'nın bütün devirlerinde Allah'ın
At every era of the Ottomans,
Allah'ın evliyaları
saints of Allah, Awliyaullah,
onun içinde hep
they always existed within the Ottomans,
tarikatları devam ettirmiştir.
and they continued the
Tarikatlar,
culture of tariqas.
yollar demek.
Tariqa means paths.
Yol,
Tariq is a path and tariqa is plural of that.
bir inanç dizaynı içerisinde
But the word tariqa within a faith group
dahil olması manasına geliyordu.
means people to follow a certain group of believers such as Mevlevis, Qadiris, Nakshis.
Birçok tarikat oluşmuştur.
There were many tariqas within the Ottoman era.
Her bir tarikat Allah'a en yakın insanların oluşturduğu bir dizaynı
And every tariqa was consisting of people who were closest to Allah.
bir tarikata girmedikçe
Unless you were a member of a tariqa within the Ottomans,
bulunamazdı.
you wouldn't be able to start to a job from the beginning.
Kalfa olunamazdı.
You couldn't be a master in that occupation.
Allah'ın yoluna girdikten sonra
After getting on the path of Allah,
ruhun Allah'a ulaşmasıyla birlikte o kişi
along with spirits
ona
returning back to Allah, then the individual could become a master in that occupation.
mutlak olarak bir işe girişin temelini teşkil
But
eder.
Pledge of Allegiance was the basics to start to that occupation.
Herkes ehli tarikattı.
Therefore, everybody were Ehli Tariq. They were a member of a tariqah.
Osmanlı dediğimiz zaman aklımıza
When we say
şeyler gelir.
Ottomans, we always remember the best.
Öyle bir dizayn oluşturmuştur ki
Ottomans has such a design that
burada
within the world,
konuda
in many topics,
önde gelen standartlara sahiptir.
they were always leaders.
Osmanlı her tarafta
Ottomans always
kervansaraylarda
opened caravansarais. They were guest houses,
ağırlanmasını
and they provided service to the travelers for free in those places.
kalmak, oraya belli bir ücret ödemeyi gerektirmez.
Travelers didn't have to pay at the caravansarais to accommodate.
Sarayların hem yapılması hem de
Building of these caravansarais and continuation of their services
başka gelir oluşturan kaynak.
were supplied by certain lands to be cultivated and certain resources to be utilized with their donations.
İnsanların hizmetine sunulmasını ifade ederdi.
It was only for servicing others.
O Osmanlı ki dünyadaki en büyük posta sistemini kurmuştur.
The Ottomans had the
En hızlı
fastest and
sistem
largest mail service during their time.
Osmanlı'nın bulunduğu dizayn içerisinde Avrupa'nın her köşesine en hızlı standartlarda ulaşan
During time of Ottomans, they could deliver mail any place in Europe.
haberciler söz konusuydu.
They were the harbingers.
Osmanlı'nın merkezi olan İstanbul'dan
From Istanbul, as it was the center of Ottomans, all the way to Europe,
Ağlarının at değiştireceği menziller vardı.
there were points that the riders of the horses could change their horses.
Başındaki kişinin adıydı.
Tatarası was the name of the person who managed the mail service.
Ve dünyadaki en hızlı posta sistemi
At that time, that was the fastest mail service in Europe.
bir Tatar yani ulaştırması gereken
The harbingers were called Tatar,
yerine ulaştıran kişi.
as they will deliver the mail to its place on time.
Birçok durakta at değiştirmek imkanına sahip.
They had the ability to change their horses at many stops. Everything was designed so greatly that
Yorgunluk noktasında
when the horse will come to point of tiredness,
benzinle ulaşmış olurdu ve
the individual will be able to change that horse, leaving that horse and taking a fresh one.
devreye girmemiş olan bir at her zaman bütün menzillerde hazır olarak
Horses will be ready at every stop.
bütün takımı yerleştirilmiş bir at.
They will be ready to ride.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
her menzilde mutlaka at değiştirilirdi.
they will certainly change the horse at every stop.
Bir atla
And with a fresh horse,
adamları Tatarlar yani
the riders
postacılar diyelim
will carry
ve devam eder.
their messages.
Sebeple İstanbul'dan Avrupa'nın herhangi bir noktasına ulaşmak
Therefore, going from Istanbul to any point in Europe
mümkün olamıyor.
will take place in a very short time.
Osmanlı her menzilde bir güzel dizayn içinde kervansaraylar inşa etmişti.
Their caravanserais were at very critical points.
Her gelene yatacak yer mutlaka temin edilir.
To every traveler, a room will be given, either that person has money or not.
40 gün süreyle orada
Whoever stopped by, they could stay there for 40 days without any payment. They could extend that term as well.
hiç kimse aç ve açıkta kalmazdı.
Therefore, nobody will be without a roof on their head or without food on the table.
Bir cami
Within Ottoman system, there will be a mosque at every neighborhood.
imamı
The imam, the minister of that mosque,
muhtarıydı.
will be the leader of that neighborhood.
Camiye gelenler
Those who came to that mosque,
ki fazla olan parayı
if they had any extra income,
sonra gelen
they would leave that extra money
evvel gelen
into a little crack that will be within a rock right by the mosque.
bırakırlardı. Ve de ihtiyaç
The rock will be
sahipleri
right by the entrance of the mosque, and those who needed money
sonra
after
o
evening or late night prayer,
oyuna giderler.
they will go to that rock and will take the money as much as they needed from that crack, and they will leave whatever they never needed.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
Osmanlı deyince ahlakın temelini oluşturan
when we say Ottomans, we need to think of a design that will be the basis for morals and ethics.
Osmanlı'yı iftar edecek bir dünya dizaynını bütün dünyaya
Ottomans introduced a world order to the entire world that everybody should be proud of.
öyleyse Osmanlı dediğimiz zaman bize hep tarif etmek düşer.
Therefore, when we talk about Ottomans, we only need to be proud of. We are a descendant of an Ottoman, and we are proud of Ottomans.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
işte bir kuruluş yıl dönümü
this is the anniversary of the establishment of the Ottomans as we know them.
Fatih Sultan Mehmet
Fatih Sultan Mehmet,
babası
the conqueror,
2. Murat
is with his father Murat II
beraber
and his teacher.
Fatih Sultan Mehmet babası
Fatih
diyor
the
ki,
conqueror says to his father that,
ben senin oğlun değil miyim?
"Ain't I your son?"
Diyor ki 2. Murat.
The Murat II says, "Yes, indeed."
O da diyor ki öyleyse diyor bu diyor beni ne diye dövüyor?
Then why is this teacher beating me?
Akşemseddin Hazretleri.
That is, Akshebseddin is also his father's teacher.
Babası da diyor ki
His father's reply is, "He used to beat me as well."
sevgili kardeşlerim, hoca o kadar önemli bir yerin sahibi olmuştur.
The teacher had such an important place within the Ottomans.
İnsanların en güzele ulaşması için Osmanlı her şeyi yapmıştır.
Ottomans did everything for people to get to best point.
Düşündüğümüz zaman
When we think of Fatih the Conqueror,
karadan Halice indirilmesi olayını gözümüzün önüne getirin.
we need to imagine how they brought the ship into Golden Horn from the land.
Bir şeyi
Something that nobody could think of was fulfilled by Fatih the Conqueror.
indirmeyi başarmıştır. Dünyada hiç
Ships were brought
kolay cereyan etmiş.
into Golden Horn
Fatih Sultan
through land.
çok üst seviyede bir devlet adamıydı.
Fatih the Conqueror was a great
Çok
leader,
güçlüydü.
and he was very young.
Önce Hristiyanlardan Ortodoksları kontrol altına almayı başardı
First, he succeeded controlling Orthodox amongst the
ve
Christians after conquering Istanbul,
onların toplantılarına iştirak etmeye başladı.
and he started joining their meetings.
Protestanlar da bu devrede bir beraberliği sağladılar.
He also managed to have a unity with the Protestants.
Ama daha ötesi
But beyond that, his vision was not fulfilled.
o gerçekleştirilemedi. Fatih Sultan Mehmet'in ömrü vefa etseydi
If Fatih the Conqueror could live longer,
mutlaka Roma'ya ulaşacak.
he could certainly get to Rome.
Bu beraberliğe davet edecekti.
He would also invite Rome into this unity.
Hristiyanların geri kalan bölümü de
After Orthodox, the remaining of the Christians will be also within that unity and serenity.
hiç kimseyi Müslüman olacaksın diye zorlamamıştır.
Ottomans never forced anyone to become Muslims.
Bırakmıştır.
They left everyone to be free in their own faith.
Müsamaha
They had so much tolerance towards every faith,
vermiştir.
and they had so much understanding.
Katolikler, Ortodokslar
Catholics, Orthodoxes,
ve Müslümanlar
and
bir
Muslims,
bütünü oluşturacaktı.
they will be one altogether.
Dinlerin birleştirilmesi Fatih Sultan Mehmet çağında
In this regard, unity of all religions will be possible during the era of Fatih the Conqueror.
eğer bir gün
My dear brothers and sisters,
diye bir sual geçiyorsa
if you consider a question if that will be a possibility one day, yes indeed it will be.
şu anda bizim elimizde bu konunun en sağlam delilleri mevcut.
Right now we have the strongest proof in this regard. What are these proof?
Dinde de
In all three religions,
Musevi,
Christianity, Judaism, and Islam,
üç dinde de
in all three religions,
kitap var.
there are holy scriptures.
Tevrat var. Musevi'de
There is
İncil
Torah for the Jews,
Müslümanların
Bible for the Christians, and Quran for the Muslims.
Mukaddes kitabı.
These are the holy scriptures that we have today.
Üç kitap, üç ayrı dinin de
Actually, these three different scriptures
unsurlarını
are indicating the basic concepts of all religions.
bir bütün olarak ele aldığımız zaman
And when we take a look at these,
tespiti
it is not difficult to find the common points,
Allah'a ulaşmayı dilemek.
making the wish to reach Allah.
Tevrat'ta da var,
That is in Torah, that is in Bible,
Kur'an'da da var.
that is in the Quran.
Mürşide tabiyet.
Pledge of allegiance to a murshid. They all are in three scriptures.
Allah'a ulaşmak.
Spirits returning back to Allah. That is in all three scriptures. Submission of physical body. That is in all three scriptures. Submission of soul exists in all three scriptures. Becoming a muhlis one
Kitapta da mevcut.
exists in all three scriptures. Submitting free will to Allah exists in all three scriptures.
Bunları söylediğimiz zaman
When we mention these existing ones, we have to add one more thing,
farz.
and they are all obligations.
Allah'a ulaşmayı dilemek,
Making the wish to reach Allah, pledge of allegiance to a murshid,
Allah'a teslim
submission of spirit, submission of physical body,
ve irade
submission of soul, becoming a muhlis one,
teslimi,
submission of free will to Allah,
iradeyi Allah'a teslim etmek, 7 safa
7 stages,
ve
and for submissions, all these 7 stages are obligations in Quran, Bible, and Torah.
farz.
They all exist and they are all obligations.
Bu standartlar içinde sevgili kardeşlerim
Within these standards, my dear brothers and sisters,
muhteva görünüyor ortada.
what is it that we see?
Hazreti İbrahim'in Hanif dini
Hanif religion of Abraham is only the religion
hiç
that had never been a second religion.
öyleyse böyle bir dizayn içerisinde tek bir dinin muhtevasını bilen insanlar için
Within that concept, for those people who know the existence of only one single religion, it becomes obvious for all people
böyle bir güne
to unite within that single religion. And such day will be certainly reached as I am still living.
dinlerin aynı din olduğunu bütün dünyaya ispat edeceğiz.
We will prove to the entire world that all religions are actually the same religion.
Yaptığımız tatbikatta
In our conferences here in Norfolk,
bütün sinagoglara,
our brothers went through every synagogue
kiliselere,
and every
camilere,
church and also mosques,
tek tek ulaşarak
one at a time,
hepsine 7 safa ve 4 teslimi kendi kitaplarından içeren, kendi kitaplarından
and explained 7 stages and 4 submissions to them from their own scriptures, giving them documents in that regard.
birkaç müşterek toplantıda
And in several mutual gatherings and conferences, this
dinin sahipleri
topic here in Norfolk was concluded,
diğer
and members of all these 3 religions accepted that actually all their religion is exactly the same religion.
tam bir teslimiyetle
With total submission,
sadece bir tek dinin mevcut
it was
olduğunu
proven that there are no multiple religions, there is only one religion, and that is the Hanif religion of Abraham.
bütün sinagoglar,
All churches,
bütün camiler
synagogues, and mosques
kabul ettiler.
accepted that.
Bu ne demek sevgili kardeşlerim?
What does that mean, my dear brothers and sisters?
Dünyadaki sulh ve sükûnun
That means this is the first step for the world peace and serenity.
ilk adım burada Norfolk'ta başarıyla tamamlanmıştır.
The first step has been put with great success here in Norfolk without any arguments,
Allah Teala'nın bize öğrettiği devrattaki
simply because 7 stages and 4 submissions in Torah, in Bible, and Quran,
tam anlamıyla
they are exactly the same.
o zaman bir sonuçla karşı karşıyayız sevgili kardeşlerim.
Then we have a conclusion here, my dear brothers and sisters. There are no different religions. There is only one religion, and that is the Hanif religion of Abraham.
Düşmanlıkların biteceği günlere yaklaşıyoruz.
Therefore, we are coming closer to the days there will be no more enmity.
Bu noktadan
And basic duty that Allah gave to me is to establish world peace from this point.
biz hayattayken gerçekleştireceğimizi göreceksiniz.
And you will see that we will fulfill that as I'm still living. My dear brothers and sisters,
Buradaki başarı ayrı ayrı dinlere sahip olan
the success we had in Norfolk
kardeşlerimize,
was reached
Hristiyanlar
as we proved to
kardeşlerimize, kardeşlerimize,
our brothers and sisters that are Jews and Christians
İslam'ın
that
aynı olduğunu temel
their religion is exactly the same as Islam in its fundamentals.
elbette merasimler farklı olabilir.
Of course, ceremonies might be different.
Her dinin kendisine ait olan bir ritüelidir.
That is only a ritual belonging to that faith.
Davranacaktır.
And in that regard, everybody will be free to do whatever they wish. That is not a problem whatsoever.
Temelde 7 safa ve 4 teslimin
Important thing is, within the basics,
esasını teşkil etmesi
all 7 stages and 4 submissions to be fundamentals in all 3 religions,
iradinin
an obligation of spirit, physical body, soul, and free will to Allah within all these 3 religions again.
acaba Allah Teala'nın bize verdiği bu büyük görevi
I wonder if you can see why this great duty was commissioned to me.
biz ilmi insanlardan öğrenmedik
I did not receive the knowledge from other people, my dear brothers and sisters. I received that from Allah.
8536 sayfalık 19 ciltlik bir Kur'an-ı Kerim'imiz var.
I have a commentary of the Quran that is in 19 volumes, 8,536 pages. Let me repeat, 8,536 pages long within 19 volumes.
Ve
And when we take a look at the fundamentals of the Quran, we realize that these fundamentals are not different than the fundamentals in Torah and fundamentals in the Bible. That is the first step for the world peace. And within the upcoming years, it will be obvious that the world peace will be certainly provided. And we will be the center of that. My dear brothers and sisters, if you are talking about Turkish Republic, this republic is only a continuation of the Ottomans. Ottoman Empire continued till the Republic of Turkey. But the blood is exactly the same. As a poet says, don't think that the nature changes, the blood is exactly the same. Therefore, you all have the Ottoman blood. Your ancestors, fathers of your fathers, grandfathers of your grandfathers were Ottomans. My dear brothers and sisters, Republic of Turkey is the continuation of the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans that were well known all over the world, Ottomans that provided world peace. At one point they had the largest land in the world, as they were the representative of total justice. Let me reiterate one more time, my dear brothers and sisters. I admire Ottomans. I am only proud of them. Allah's magnificent design should be an interest to each and every one of you. You have Ottoman blood and you should be proud of that, my dear brothers and sisters. They had the widest land, biggest land in the world during their time. But the land is not important actually. The important thing is providing the world peace. And providing world peace will be provided through me as I'm still living. That should be known the way it is. To talk about future takes place with the command of Allah that Allah commanded me. Allah is the owner of past and owner of the future, and lets me know what will happen in the future, with the command to let you know what that is. Then can I talk to Allah anytime? Any given time, I have the ability and authority to talk to Allah. And I have great confidence and happiness through that as well. And I'm not hesitant for anyone to know it. This is my life. My life is within control of Allah. He may finish my life anytime He wishes. My dear brothers and sisters, I always tell you to live for Allah. I live for Allah. Nothing else can worry me. I'm within control of Allah. I don't do things. He makes me do it. I do not talk. He makes me talk.
Biz bilmeyiz.
I do not know.
O bilir.
He knows
Ağzımızdan bildirir.
and lets you know through me.
Öyleyse bir övünç vesilesinden bahsetmiyoruz. Biz bir hiçiz.
And I'm not bragging. I'm nothing.
Allah'ın bize kumanda etmesi
But Allah to control me
bu dünyadaki
is the greatest blessing of Allah in this universe.
biz Allah'ın söylediklerini
I always
söyleriz.
told you what Allah made me tell you.
Söylediklerini
I always tell what Allah makes me tell.
de
And in the future,
söylediği.
I will be telling you what Allah will be making me tell you.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
atalarımızla, Osmanlı'yla her zaman iftihar ederiz.
I'm always proud of Ottomans as my ancestors.
Biz Osmanlı'nın kuruluşundan itibaren Osmanlıyız.
I am an Ottoman since the establishment of the Ottomans.
Evranos Bey'dir.
My ancestor is Evrenos Bey.
Yakınlarından
He is
biriydi.
one of the closest ones to Osman Gazi.
Bu tarafa bizim
From Evrenos Bey all the way to me,
ne kadar Evranosoğlu geçmişse hepsini
however, the many Evrenos although we have the list of that
saklık olmadan herkese bunu
without any mistakes.
bir sağlam soy kütüğünü
I have a family tree that can prove that to anyone.
bununla da iftihar ederiz.
And I'm proud of that as well.
Yani asırlardan beri Osmanlı'nın kuruluşundan beri Osmanlı
In other
olan
words,
bir aileden geliyorum.
I'm coming from a family that has been an Ottoman since the establishment of the Ottoman Empire.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
Allah Teala'nın dizaynı açık ve kesindir.
Allah's design is very cut and clear.
Bir hedef söz konusudur. O hedef
There is a point to get to, and that point is not war.
dünya.
That point is the world peace.
Allah Teala dünya sulhünü bizim elimizle kuracağını ifade ediyor.
Allah Ta'ala indicates the world peace will be served through me. I'm only an instrument.
Telefonuz.
I'm only a
Biz
speakerphone.
bir hiçiz.
I'm nothing.
Allah'ın söylediklerini söyleriz.
I only state what Allah says,
Ötesinde bir şey söylemek yetkisi.
and I don't have the authority to say anything else other than what Allah makes me to say.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters, friends of my life, friends of my heart,
bu vesileyle hamdolsun ki hakkımızda çok şeyler öğrendiniz.
through this I praise Allah you learned so much about me.
Bundan bu tarafa
Starting from the establishment of the Ottomans, someone from my family always existed within the Ottomans.
sizlere ulaştırabiliriz.
And I can let you know every name one at a time. I have that family tree.
Böyle bir ispat için
And it is ready to prove.
sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
hepinizi çok ama çok seviyoruz.
I love you all very, very much.
Ki birbirinize dost olasınız.
And I would like each and every one of you to be friends with each other.
Allah düşmanlıkların bitmesini istiyor.
Allah Ta'ala wants enmity to stop.
Dünya sulhünün kurulmasını istiyor.
Allah Ta'ala wants world peace
Hayattayken
to be established.
bu dünya sulhünün kurulabildiğini,
And you will realize that that world peace will be established as I am still living.
birçokları için söylediklerimiz
For many,
mahsulü,
what I'm saying is only imagination, as they may consider.
bütün söylediklerimizin doğru olduğunu birer
but the upcoming days will prove everything that I say to be the truth. No, I do not know the future. I am not an oracle. I do not know the future, but I am commissioned to relay what Allah tells me. If the source is Allah, if that is Allah stating that, if it is Allah making me to say, then there is nothing but the truth in that.
Bütün insanlar için mutluluk kapıları ardına kadar
The doors of happiness and joy will be wide open for everyone.
mutlaka kurulacaktır.
World peace will be certainly established, my dear brothers and sisters, and I will be in the center of that.
Böyle bir dizaynda bunu niye söylüyoruz?
Why do I mention that?
Allah Teala söylettiği için söylüyoruz.
Simply because Allah is making me to state.
Gerçekleşecek olan bir vaka değil de
Of course, this is not something that will take place tomorrow.
geçecektir.
Maybe there will be several governments until we reach that conclusion.
Zaten bizim yapacağımız bu hedefe ulaşmak konusunda bir gayretimiz söz konusu olmayacak.
And of course, we are not going to be doing anything in order to get to that point. Circumstances will get us to that point.
Gelecek hakkında sadece bunu biliyoruz.
That's what I know in regards to future.
Yüce Rabbimiz bize bunları söylememizi emrettiği cihetle
And since Almighty is commanding me to state these, you are familiar with all these. If He didn't command, then throughout my life I wouldn't have let anybody know about these.
sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
güzel haberler.
these are good news,
Dünyada savaş,
where the wars will be ending in the world,
bütün dünya
and peace and serenity will be blossoming all over the world.
hayattayken mutlaka dünya
The world will certainly get to that day as I'm still living.
hangi cepheden ne yaparsa yapsın
Doesn't matter what other people do.
kanununu hiç kimse bozamaz.
Nobody can change the rule of Allah. Nobody can break that rule.
Söylediğimiz şekilde tahakkuk ettikçe
As the truth will prevail, as I stated,
olduğunu
then everybody will be
herkes,
clear that this is mentioned by Allah.
sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
ispatına gerek görmüyoruz.
I don't think it is necessary to prove anything.
Bize söylettiklerini söyleriz.
I only state what Almighty makes me say, and I'm not hesitant of that either.
Gerçek bir kıymet.
My life, it's not even important a little bit.
Allah'ın azatsız
I am
kölesiyiz.
a slave of Allah without freedom.
Allah için yaşarız.
I live for Allah,
için ölürüz.
I die for Allah.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters,
Allah Teala'nın dizaynına baktığımız zaman
when we take a look at the design of Allah,
muhteşem bir dizayn
we realize that it is a magnificent design.
olduğuna hayranız.
I admire Allah.
Hayatımızı Allah'a adadık.
I dedicated my life to Allah.
Şimdi yaşıyoruz.
I live under His shadow,
Bir ömür böyle geçecek.
and that will be the case throughout my life.
Biliyoruz ki ağır bir görevin sorumlusuyuz.
I know that I'm responsible from a heavy duty, but I'm not afraid of that whatsoever. Why I'm not afraid?
Çünkü Allah'ın tasarrufundayız.
Because I'm in control of Allah.
Sevgili kardeşlerim,
My dear brothers and sisters, I finish my statements at this point,
hepinize
asking Allah Ta'ala to grant upon you infinite happiness and joy. Asking that from the Almighty, I finish my statements at this point.
Allah.
May Allah bless you all.
Esselamu Aleyküm ve Rahmetullah ve Berekatuhu.